Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to sit down and try out some affordable makeup or drugstore makeup that I ended up picking up online recently. I placed two orders, one from Kiss Makeup, so they own Joa Beauty as well. So I got a Joa product, I got some Kiss lashes, and then the other order was on Flower Beauty. They just launched a couple eye products that I really wanted to try. I bought a highlighter. So I just wanted to sit down and do kind of a first impressions with the things that I picked up and see if we find anything really good. So we're going to be trying out the Joa Crystal Glow Primedation. I bought this a while back, like a couple weeks ago at this point. I just haven't tried it yet. So I really wanted to sit down and try out that new foundation. I picked up the Kiss lashes, which I'm not a huge lash wearer, as you guys know, but I saw that Ash K. Home used these specific lashes on Megan Fox for one of the red carpet looks that they did together, and I was like, okay, I want to try those. They kind of look like the style of lash that I do like to wear when I do wear a strip lash, so we'll see how that goes. Flower Beauty launched the Forbidden Fruit eyeshadow palette, which I really love the color scheme. This is the first pressed palette that has this many shades in it from Flower Beauty, I'm pretty sure. They have their other ones that are more strip looking shadow blocks. There's not like square ones. They have the quads. I forget what the other eyeshadow palettes are called, but basically this is the first one that looks like this, I'm pretty sure. So I'm really excited. And then also the Flower Desert Lights palette. Look at this. So they made a Jungle Lights palette, I believe, like a couple of years ago at this point. And this seems to be the same formula, but a different color story, which I'm so excited to try. And then here is the highlighter. So let's just get right into it. I think I'm gonna start with the eyes first. So I'm gonna take a little bit of my Hailey's Beauty Rewind Concealer. Oh wait, hold on. I need to do my brows really quick. I'm going to take my Milani Precision Brow Pencil and just fill in my brows. All right, so now I'm going to go into concealer. We're just going to prep the eyes with this. So I'm just going to apply this all over the lid with my concealer brush. And then I'm going to use my sponge to press that down. And then I'm just going to set it with a little bit of translucent powder. This one is from Thrive Cosmetics. I'm just going to do a light layer. All right, so now we're going to first start out with this palette. Again, it's called the Forbidden Fruit palette. It comes with 10 pressed shadow shades. There are a mix of matte and shimmers in here. This retails for $15. So let's try it out. I'm gonna dip into this shade right here called Guava first. And I'm gonna use that as my transition shade. This feels like it's maybe a different formula than any of their other palettes so far. I don't really know. I mean, I might be making that up. It could be completely false, but it just kind of feels like something different from their other palettes that I've tried. So far, this is building up really nicely and blending out super well. All right, next, I'm going to hop into the shade right next door, which is this one right here called Juicy. And I'm going to start blending that into the outer portion, kind of into the crease, a little bit on this edge. Just starting to create a little bit of depth. I'm also bringing it in, once there's less on the brush, toward the inner portion. Wow, that color looks so pretty blended into that first peach shade we just applied. These are so pretty. They're really buttery. I feel like I'm always looking for good, affordable eyeshadow palettes. I feel like it's easy to find really nice high-end eyeshadow palettes, and I usually have really good luck with every category in the drugstore realm, but eyeshadows for some reason are sometimes more difficult to find incredible formulas. So far so good with this palette. Okay, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to apply the shade Citrus onto my eyelid. So I'm just going to kind of press and sweep this across. That's really pretty. It's a very wearable shimmer shade. It's not too overpowering. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. All right, I'm kind of wanting to add a little bit of depth. I think I might mix the two deepest shades, Dragon Fruit and Blackberry. I'm going to take this on my brush and start to create a little bit more depth on that outer corner using these. Okay, so even with these deeper shades, they're definitely more of a buildable formula, which to me is really actually a nice thing when it comes to an eyeshadow palette that's more for beginners, or if you're just somebody who doesn't want your eyeshadow to look too heavy, it's nice to find a more buildable formula that you can kind of build as you go so that you don't overdo it. If you're someone who's super into eyeshadows and you want major payoff and pigment off of like the first dip, you might not like a palette like this, but I think there's pros and cons to both types of formulas, you know? Just depends on your preference when it comes to how you apply your eyeshadow, how often you wear eyeshadow, how comfortable you are with eyeshadow, things like that. The pros to something that builds is that if you do build it, it just fades into the layers super seamlessly. Like you can see how blended out and how soft and diffused all the layers are on my eyes, and I love that about it. It makes it really foolproof. Again, if you're not sure if you're the best at blending eyeshadow or something like that, a formula like this would really benefit anyone who's concerned about those things. So obviously I can't try every single shade in the palette. I really do love the idea of the shade Exotic, which is like a really cool purple. Maybe I'll try to add that somewhere on the lower lash line. But I did want to kind of like show you what I created with just that palette. So again, very soft, very diffused, very watercolor-esque. We're going to apply one of these on top. So the Flower Desert Lights palette is more of a like topper palette. I really loved the Jungle Lights palette because I'm somebody who really enjoys and already owns a lot of matte eyeshadows, and so it's nice to have a full-on shimmer palette that you can pair with any eyeshadow palette you have. This is a little bit more money than the Forbidden Fruit palette. It's $18, but I mean the pan sizes are massive, so I feel like for what you get, it's a good price. Obviously, let's try out some of the shades. I'm trying to think. I kind of want to layer up a couple of these. I think I'll start off with this shade right here, which I think is Red Rocks, based off of the little key on the back. I like to apply these with just my fingertips. It's just the easiest with a formula like this. And I'm gonna start to apply this on like the middle of the lid, just gently pressing and swiping a little bit to start to build up that foil. Okay, I'm just gonna go right next door, I think. Actually, I think I'm actually gonna go into the gold shade in the middle and top. This is called Soul. I'm gonna take that on my finger as well, and I'm going to apply this right over top of the shimmer shade that we had already applied in this inner corner, and then kind of use my finger to blend it into that middle color we just applied. See, these are so pretty. Wow, I really love that color. It's so metallic. Wow, that's gorgeous. I'm gonna go find my Jungle Lights palette and kind of do a comparison because I'm curious to see if there was more glitter in the Jungle Lights or if I'm just making that up in my head. Okay, so I was swatching a couple back and forth and the formula looks the exact same. It just depends on the shade as far as how much glitter is in what. But let me show you side by side so you guys can see a difference color-wise. So here's the Jungle Lights. This one has green, purple, it's very like earthy. This one is all like lighter and kind of more pink. So yeah, both gorgeous palettes. Anyway, I wanted to compare the two. Okay, so I really like how the eyes look. I am actually going to apply Top Lash Mascara. I'm gonna stick with the Flower Beauty theme and use the Warrior Princess Mascara on just the top lashes for now. And I'm gonna really focus on the base because I am going to apply those false lashes. So I wanna make sure the base has a nice coat to it so that the false lashes sit on top nicely and so that the band isn't as visible. Okay, I think I'm actually going to apply false lashes now, which I don't normally do, but I just really want to see how they look. So again, I picked these up from Kiss's website. This is the MLBB, My Lash But Better lashes in the style No Filters. So first I'm just kind of measuring them. I just plopped them on my eyelid to see if the length was okay. And I think it is. I think those are going to be really pretty actually. They're very wispy and lifted on the outer corners, which if I do wear a strip lash, that's what I look for. So I'm excited actually to try these. I'm just gonna grab my Duo Lash Glue, just the clear color. I'm just applying a thin layer across the entire band. I'm gonna take some House of Lashes tweezers and just let that glue get a little bit tacky before I try to place them. Okay, so I'm just letting the glue dry a little bit more. But so far I really like how wispy these are. There's quite a bit of length on this end here, which maybe I should have trimmed, but we're just gonna leave the full length today since I already put them on my lashes. But yeah, I really love how fluffy and lifted they are on the edges, but it's not too heavy looking, I feel like. Which usually a lot of strip lashes can look super heavy on me, so far so good with these. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up any fallout underneath the eyes and also just kind of create more of a shape on the edge. All right, so now we're gonna try out this new foundation. It's called the Primedation from Joa Beauty. Let me see how much these are. So this retails for $15.99. I got the color FN020, which is for very fair skin with neutral undertones. By the way, those lashes, these are $4.99. I forgot to mention the price. Let's read what it says. So it's supposed to have an all-day radiant finish. It's supposed to have medium coverage. It contains hyaluronic acid, collagen, crystallide, peptide, and blue light defense. And it says, start with clean skin and shake well. Apply foundation starting at the center of the face. Focus on one area at a time and blend well. If you have dry skin, apply your daily moisturizer prior to use. So it's supposed to be like a skincare meets makeup multitasking primer and foundation. So here's what it looks like. I like the packaging. It's very simple but clean. I'm gonna do 1.5 pumps on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start blending that out with a brush. Oh wow. Okay, wait. I was not expecting as much coverage as this. So I'm just gonna blend all of this out before dipping back into the product on the back of my hand, because it seems like a little goes a pretty long way. I did add a little bit more product to the brush just to give coverage to the forehead. So we're just gonna do one half of the face first. That shade matched really well. So I'm just gonna press this in with a sponge, and then we will compare both sides of the face. Wow, I think that looks so pretty. See the glow that it gives? It definitely feels really nice on the skin. It gives that skincare meets makeup kind of a feeling and a look, actually. I really like how it looks once it was blended out. Again, this is more of a first impressions video, and so far, based off of application, this is really, really pretty. I'm not too familiar with Joa Beauty products. I own quite a few. They sent me a couple PR packages, actually, and I just haven't had the chance to sit down and try things out. So that's one layer. I'm gonna take a little bit more. It's actually kind of like a thicker feeling formula. It's almost got like a gel feeling to it. Like it's a thicker formula, but then it blends really well into the skin. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain. I'm just building up coverage on the cheeks where I have the most redness. It's really blending well into the skin. It definitely has a very, very dewy finish, especially after using a sponge and applying another layer. But I'm all about like a healthy glow when it comes to a foundation, as long as it doesn't get too overpowering toward the end of the day. But I really like how that looks initially. Okay, I'm gonna take my Rewind Concealer from Hailey's Beauty, and I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some of this to the under eye area. It's currently raining right now, which I actually love. It makes things so cozy, but the one downside I feel like to a rainy day is it makes the day feel so much later than it is. Does that make sense? Like it makes you feel like it's 7 p.m. and actually it's like 2 o'clock just because it's so dark out. But I love how cozy it makes my house feel when it's rainy outside. Okay, once that is placed where I want it, I'm now gonna take my sponge and press all of that in. Okay, I really love the glow that that foundation has, but of course you guys know I love to set the face with powder, so I'm gonna take my Thrive Cosmetics setting powder and just lock the concealer and foundation in on the entire face. Okay, I'm just pressing that powder into the skin. We're gonna bronze things up with my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. All right, so once bronzer is on, we're gonna go back to the eyes and finish up the lower lash line. So I'm actually gonna mix Guava and Juicy and tap off the excess, and I'm gonna just apply this to the lower lash line to start to create a little bit of color there. I'm gonna dip into that same palette and go into the shade Lychee. And I'm gonna apply this color to the inner corner. Wow, that is so pretty. I'm gonna kind of connect it to the inner corner on the lower lash line as well. And then we're gonna dip into the Desert Lights palette. And I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is called Sahara, which kind of has pink and gold mixed into it. And I'm gonna gently start to apply that across the lower lash line. So I'm noticing with this that it's not quite as impactful with a dry brush, but if you get your brush a little more wet or use your fingers, then you get that major metallic glow. So just something to point out with that formula specifically. I'm gonna take an angled brush and I'm gonna dip into Dragon Fruit and Blackberry, tap off the excess, and I'm gonna use this to kind of shape out that outer third of the lower lash line. and then connect it up and out toward that outer corner. I'm taking one of the brushes we used on the top lid, and I didn't add any more product. I'm just kind of going underneath all these colors and blending it out a little bit lower underneath the eyes really gently. Then I'm going to go back into my Warrior Princess mascara and apply this to the lower lashes. Okay, so for highlighter, I bought the new Stellar Prismatic Highlighter from Flower Beauty. This is in the shade Luna. It comes in 3 shades. This is the lightest. This retails for $13. I'm hoping it's not too deep for me. It's kind of interesting. It's got like this speckled texture to it. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of glittery, and I don't love a lot of glitter in my highlights, so we'll see. I'm just gonna kind of run my brush through this and tap off. Oh my goodness. It's very glittery. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try to really tap off the glitter. Oh no. I don't know. It's like straight up glitter. I thought that maybe it would just be a topper. It's like all glitter, which, you know, is pretty, just not for me for like what I'm going for usually. This is more of like a, like if you were doing a fairy Halloween costume, this would be a stunning product to use. But if you're like me and you're just trying to live your life on a daily basis, this is not something that I would personally choose. Way too glittery for me personally. It's pretty, but just not what I prefer for an everyday situation. And, you know, when it comes to highlight, I like it to be able to work for everyday occasions usually. So yeah, that's that wasn't my favorite. I wonder if the glitter is throughout or if it's just kind of like on the top. I don't know. I'm trying to swatch it and it seems like it's just pretty glittery throughout the entire thing. So yeah, not my cup of tea. I definitely prefer their Day Glow cream highlight right now. It's just so amazing. So I would definitely prefer that over this one. Let's see here. For blush, let's take this Kylie Cosmetics blush in the shade Pink Power. I'm just going to apply that to the apples of the cheeks. I'm going to wipe off any foundation on the lips. And then we are going to line the lips. Let's see here. I'm going to use my NYX Nude Beige. I just love that color so much. And I'm wanting to wear a Fawn Beauty gloss again. I think I might go with the more pink one for the eyes. This is called a Staple. It's got kind of like that pinky peach undertone. So I'm just going to layer this across the entire lips. Okay, I'm just going to assess the situation and add a little more bronzer. And then normally when I try a new foundation, I don't use setting spray, but since I'm not going to do a long wear test with this, I am going to kind of set the face a little bit. I'm just going to use some MAC Fix Plus. And then just take my sponge and press that into the skin. And then I'm just going to set the brows. This is the Makeup by Mario Brow Gel. Okay, so the makeup look is done. Let's run through how I felt about all these products based off my first impressions. We're starting off with the Forbidden Fruit eyeshadow palette. I thought this was beautiful. Like, it really did create a nice look. However, I do feel like for me personally, since I am very familiar with eyeshadows, I own a lot of palettes, I'm not sure if this is one that I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody needs this palette. Who I do think it might be for is for anyone who wants to start to dip into berry tones or these types of colors, but you're not really quite sure how to do an eyeshadow look. You don't want to overdo it. A formula like this and a palette like this would be great to dip your toes into something like this. I feel like I own these colors in other palettes, and so it wasn't something that I feel like floored me in that regard. But with that being said, I also really did love how the look turned out. I loved how things blended into each other super seamlessly, almost like watercolor. So again, if you're looking for a really easy to use palette, I think you would really enjoy this. For me, I feel like if I'm going to wear colors like this, I usually want a little bit more punch just because I do love wearing eyeshadow and I'm very familiar with eyeshadow. Something that I do feel like really adds to my collection is the Desert Lights palette from Flower Beauty. I really have enjoyed the Jungle Lights palette. This is more wearable in my opinion, just meaning that, you know, you could use these toppers across a lot of different looks with more neutral palettes. The other Jungle Lights palette had a little bit more color to it, which if you prefer more color in toppers like that, you would really enjoy that one. But I am very excited for this. I feel like this is what really gave a lot of life to the eye look. So I would definitely say that this is something that is worth looking into. The Kiss lashes, actually, I really like them. They're definitely more on the flirty side. And again, for someone who doesn't really wear lashes often, this is something that I feel like actually flatters my eye shape. So it's hard for me to find lashes that flatter me, that don't make me feel like I'm overdone, that are the exact shape that kind of just like elongates my eyes a little bit. And I feel like this really did that. They're very comfortable so far too. So thumbs up on the lashes. The Joa Crystal Glow Primedation. I mean, if I look at myself in the monitor and in person, I love how my complexion looks. Again, this is something that I'm gonna have to test for a while to see how it wears. I'm gonna have to like wear it on a day where I'm not filming multiple videos and try to get back to you guys on this, but I did really want to just try this out. I am noticing how nice it feels on the skin. It really does feel very hydrating so far, which is usually a pro for me as far as the finish goes, unless it gets a little too oily. But right now, I have glitter all over my face. We'll get to that in a second. But right now, it just feels and looks very balanced. So I have to say I'm really excited about this. I really enjoyed how it applied, even though it was a thicker formula than what I had pictured. In my mind, I almost feel like that's gonna really make it grip all day because it kind of had like a tacky finish, almost like a primer would. So yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm gonna keep it on my desk and keep reaching for it, and I will let you guys know how it ends up wearing on me. The highlight was a no for me. I didn't love this Stellar Prismatic highlighter. It's just too glittery. There's something about it in the base that I think would have been super nice, but I don't want to get through just chunks of glitter to get to that. So not my favorite. Again, the Flower Beauty, the Glaze. I'll have it linked down below because that's just something that's just amazing. It's phenomenal, and it's an affordable highlight as well, and it's going to give you a very natural glow, but a very healthy looking, yeah, just like life to your skin, where this one, it's just too much glitter for me. I don't love it. So that was a no. Is that everything I tried? I think so. So yeah, I really love to like shop for drugstore makeup, and I was really glad to be able to find a few new things from Flower Beauty. So for me personally, I think the Kiss Lashes and the Desert Lights palette are the two things that I'm like really into right now. I think the third would have to be the Joa foundation, but I can't be like, you know, fully pushing that yet because I haven't worn it for a whole day. And then the Forbidden Fruit palette is optional, and the highlight I would skip on if you have the same taste in highlighter as me. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me try out some drugstore things that I picked up recently. I would love to hear in the comments down below if there's anything new at the drugstore that you are loving. I love to hear feedback from you guys. I'd love to hear what you're enjoying as well, so be sure to leave a comment down below. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie, and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber, but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.